Welcome to Secret Podcast, hosted by Dustin White.
Hello and welcome to Secret Podcast. I'm Dustin White, and I have a very special guest today. I'm happy to bring everybody, Ashley Kohler, to the Secret Podcast today to talk about a puzzle that a lot of people are really super interested in right now. There's maybe hints being put out about it from official sources. Don't know. It's the puzzle that John Palancar went on to Josh Gates tonight and said, hey, this is the next one in order of, the way he created the paintings. And so this is a really kind of a hot puzzle. So this is Image 3, mostly known as the Roanoke puzzle or the Outer Banks. And Ashley, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. And what brought you to this puzzle? What draws your eye and your interest, and why do you like this puzzle so much? I want to bring up some imagery, but go ahead and start talking about it.
Well, thank you for having me. I guess what drew me to this puzzle the most was probably the fact that it has to do with January, and I'm a January baby. So it caught my interest, and I've always wanted to go to the Outer Banks. I've never been, but the idea of Roanoke and the Lost Colony, it was all very intriguing.
Very cool. So you don't live near the Outer Banks. Where are you at, if you don't mind
I'm
me asking?
I'm in Northeast Ohio, where every Cascarounder has been found. So,
Well, if there's one in Montreal, you're not too far from that.
yeah, I guess.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about Image 3, the medieval scarecrow, and you use the traditional verse with it that starts with past two friends of octave. Would you like to read the verse, or would you like me to?
You go ahead.
All right, so this is verse number 11 for the secret, and it starts with past two friends of octave in December. Ride the man of Oz to the land near the window. There's a road that leads to dark forest, where white is in color with two maps. After circle and square, in July and August, a path beckons to mica and driftwood. Under that, which may be last touched or first seen standing, look north at the wing and dig to achieve by dauntless and inconquerable determination your goal. Oops, your goal's on there too. Cool. Yeah. So I mean, this is quite the puzzle. A lot of people think they figured out a lot of these things. Do you agree with a lot of common consensus, or do you have a lot of other ideas concerning this verse?
I think that my ideas are a little different. I don't think that, first of all, octave, Oz, or white should be capitalized. I know the Japanese hint talked about the octave being a proper noun, but I feel like if we start to question that in terms of its capitalization, we have to look at every word differently. And I don't think that that's what was intended.
Okay. All right. So you don't think that they need to be capitalized, so you must not believe them to be names, or could they still be names?
They could in a roundabout way, but no, I don't believe that they're names.
All right. So do you want to go? Yeah, no problem. So do you want to go down the break down the verse, or do you want to get into your imagery that you supplied?
Honestly, it's kind of in order that way, so we can just start with the top.
Yeah. So
I did them
kind of December. Is that all together as far as you're concerned?
Yes. And in my opinion, I think the two friends of octave are the sounds. If we're to make octave or a synonym of octave a proper noun, the way to do that would to make it a sound. And Roanoke Sound and Croatan Sound are both proper nouns because they are places. So I think that's kind of how we get around that.
That's fun. I like it. I could dig that. All right. So so that's what an octave is. An octave is going up the scale of like musical notes, do,
Right.
ra, so, la, ti, do, right?
Hmm.
And so they're definitely sound. So I can buy that. So we have the Croatan sound and the Roanoke sound, and we have imagery up for anybody that's audio only listener. We do have Roanoke Island is surrounded by both of these sounds. Okay, I follow.
And then in December just simply means North Carolina, the 12th state.
Okay, so North Carolina is the 12th state, and that corresponds to December being the 12th month. All right, I can follow both of those.
Okay.
All right, do we
And
go
then
to
I have the Ride the Man of Oz. Now I think Baum is important, but not in the Frank L. Baum way. I know I pulled this picture up, and mostly because it says the crowned heads of Europe. And in the book, we have the quote about the fairies and their crown jewel of the queen. So I kind of connected those two together.
Yeah, are you talking about the Litany of the Jewels?
Right.
Yeah, so
Yes,
the Litany of the Jewels, fairies of England proudly bear Garnet, crown jewel of their queen.
And I just found it interesting that Professor Marvel in The Wizard of Oz has
Mhm.
that on the side of his little trailer thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So just a fun connection.
Yeah, that's fun. All right. Okay, so that was. Oh, sorry. I'll explain that imagery a little bit more. There's a photo on the screen of the side of Professor Marvel's carriage from the movie The Wizard of Oz. You can see Dorothy standing in the front, and it says Professor Marvel, acclaimed by the crowned heads of Europe. Let him read your past, present, and future in its crystal ball, I guess. Also, jugglers and sleight of hand. Very fun.
Very magical. Yeah. And
Right,
then
so we see an image of a woman standing. Is this in snow or is this in sand?
that is in sand. That is Carolista Baum. And she is actually the reason that Jockey's Ridge State Park didn't succumb to becoming, commercialized property or condos or anything like that. So she's kind of the basis for this whole thing. And her last name is also Baum, which I found interesting. And I just like the pose that she's striking because it's very reminiscent of the medieval scarecrow. And there's more on that.
Stretched out. Very cool. All right, so this is someone with the last name Baum. What was her first name again?
Carolista.
Carolista Baum. Okay, and
Yeah,
she's
and her first name,
for saving Jockey.
oh, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say her name being Carolista. If you take the front part of that, it's a carol, so it's also kind of a sound, which I thought was interesting.
Cool, and Carolina too.
Mhm.
Very, very fun. All right, so she is responsible for saving Jockey Ridge, what now is a state park, right?
Correct.
All right, very cool. All right, so what's this next imagery? We have like, is this the turn onto the Washington Baum Bridge?
You're actually going to turn off a bit.
Mm.
So it's kind of backwards in that sense. So you're going to ride the Man of Oz, and I believe that just means the medieval scarecrow. He's made of metal, and metal is weighed in ounces. And the abbreviation for ounces is OZ. So I think that we are to take him all the way across to the land near the window. And I see the Roanoke Island in the imagery, the little bat.
Sure.
But if you go beyond that, there's the other land near the window, and that is Nag's Head.
So you think there's...
I think the shadow in the wall past the bat is the outline of Nag's Head.
The shadow in the wall next to the bat? Where's the bat?
Well, the outline of Roanoke Island or Manteo.
Oh, I see. It can look like a bat. Yeah, gotcha. All right. Yeah. So what most people take as the outline of Roanoke Island, but it also can look like a bat if you turn it sideways. I get it now.
And
Very
yes, it is near the window, but if you go beyond it, the
cool.
shadow where the wall seems to break,
Yeah.
that is another land near the window. It's just further.
Okay. Cool. So you have reasoning to believe that it's speaking about a different shape near the window in the image. All right. I can follow that as well. All right. And then do we move on to this next image?
Um, yeah, whenever you get off of Washington Bond Bridge, I believe that you were to take the Croatan Highway,
Okay.
and that leads into the next part of the verse, and that's
Okay.
the road that leads to Dark Forest.
All right. So you're coming off of Roanoke Island for your like you begin on Roanoke Island and you're coming off of it to um, the Outer Banks, right?
Right.
Right.
I
Okay.
think we actually start in North Carolina, and you've got to take the first half of the bridge to get to Roanoke Island or Manteo, and
Okay.
then you take his other arm to get there.
Okay. Well, interesting. So that's there's a road that leads to Dark Forest, and then that takes you where?
It's going to take you to the Dark Forest, but it also is a play on the plaque that's by the Elizabethan Gardens
Oh, I see.
that talks about the lost colony going into Dark Forest.
Gotcha.
So I think it does kind of tie into that. I just don't think that it's a major thing. So we're going to take the Croatan Highway until we get to Dark Forest, which is
Gotcha. I'm
just,
understanding.
I think Dark Forest is just another word for green.
For dreams. Okay.
No, green, the color
Oh.
green.
Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry, I told you this briefly before we started recording, but like I got a little bit of a hearing loss going on, and it's tough for me to hear. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit.
People told me that I mumbled, and I didn't believe them, but maybe I do.
No, it's probably not. No, I definitely have like hearing loss. Like my ears are really jacked up. I actually have ear infections in both my ears right now.
Oh no, double whammy.
It's normal. It actually happens all the time. All right. All right. So the next part of the verse is where white is in color with two maps. How do you interpret that?
So I think that for white to not be a proper noun, and if Dark Forest is green, that means that we are looking for the color white surrounded by green. And that takes us to Jockey's Ridge State Park.
Gotcha.
It is the largest sand dune on the East Coast, and it actually has a lot of maritime forest surrounding it. So you can see it's just a drop of white surrounded by dark forest.
Okay. I can understand that as well. We have on the screen a satellite image of Jockey's Ridge State Park, and it is pure white, or it's not, maybe not white sands, but like it's white with forestry around it. So I get it. Okay. So the next part of the verse says, after circle and square. And do you use that within July and August, or you just use circle and
I
square?
actually, with two maps after circle and square is how I break it up. And
Gotcha.
that goes to the next picture, and that is the picture of the parking lot.
Okay.
So that is the park to get to Jockey Ridge.
And
it's a square, but there's only one way in and one way out. Now, when you get into the parking lot, you can either go right or left. So I think that's the two maps. You can take right or left to park your car. And it is a square shape, but because there's only one entrance and exit, it's a circle at the same time.
Gotcha. All right. I get where you're going with this. All right. So how about in July and August? What do you what does that do for you?
I think that just has to do with the fact that Jockey's Ridge State Park gets the most visitors in July and August. And that has a lot to do with the fact that they offer a hang gliding school there. And that's where a lot of people go to hang glide. So I think it's most popular during that time.
I think this would be a really cool place to hang glide. I mean, it's where the first flight happened, right? Just right up the road. And
right.
They were on a, they tested with gliders at first, right? And then the first human powered flight. So that's pretty neat.
And you can actually, they have a model Wright Flyer there that you can hang glide with.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been out there. I'd love to go here. I've I've been dreaming of going to North Carolina with my wife to check this out for a long time and have not made it. All right, so where's your path? Is that a path into the dunes?
It is through the boardwalk. I think that's the next picture.
Okay, let's pull up the next imagery. Oh, you have the
The hang glider, which the medieval scarecrow to me kind of looks like his arms are outstretched, like when you go hang gliding.
sure,
So I kind of
and
thought that was a cool reference.
and like his arms are supported by trusses, metal pieces, yeah, and so there's like some imagery with I can see it as a bridge, like you were saying at the beginning, because there's those kind of structures under the bridge holding it up, or any bridge holding it up, and then the imagery is complementary to hang gliders as well.
Right.
All right, so here we have like an image of a pathway, your pathway, I take it.
Right, to another dark forest, or part of dark forest, I guess. This is the boardwalk that will lead you to the overlook. It is
Okay.
sitting on mica,
Mhm.
which is like the sand,
Sure.
and then you're going to observe the Roanoke Sound at the observation deck, and there is a lot of driftwood that comes in there. So I
Okay.
think that's what that line means.
All right, so you take this pathway from the parking area out to an observation deck where you can overlook the dunes and see the Roanoke Sound. Am I following
Correct.
that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's your path that beckons over mica and driftwood, I guess.
Right. I think the next picture is just me kind of like showing you where the boardwalk is and where the observation deck is.
Let me see if I can get us to go on to the next image. Hello. One second.
No problem.
Yeah, the imagery is not being very nice right now. So
Technical difficulties for everyone.
what's that?
I said technical difficulties for everyone.
No, it's totally cool. All right, so I got it, but I have to pull it up on another screen. One sec. I'm reducing us, or I'm taking it back to us, and then I am going to reshare my screen. I'm gonna have to do this later on anyway, because I'm gonna pull up Google Maps or Google Earth so that we can look at things from overhead at the end of this too.
Okay.
So that's a second here. But yeah, I understand where you're going with a lot of this, and I can pick up what you're putting down. All right, here is the imagery once again. 1, 2, 3. Pulling it up. All right, there we are.
Perfect. So yeah,
there's
that arrow is it's just pointing out the little walk to the observation deck that I have in a circle there. It's a 360-foot square platform that you can just, observe the dunes and the Roanoke Sound.
All right, very cool. All right, so that's where your the path beckons you to that spot.
Yes, for now. But I believe that beyond that, we are to head to where the people hang glide. So
Okay.
we're gonna go. Oh, this actually is part of look north at the wing, because where we're going is going to be on top of the sand dunes where they hang glide from.
Okay.
And those can be, between 60 feet and 100 feet tall. So if you look north, you're going to see the Wright Brothers Memorial and their wing, but also hang gliding wings.
Okay.
So I think we're going to go that way.
Yeah, so the imagery we see right now is we see at the bottom of the screen, it's a screenshot of a map. We have Jockey's Ridge State Park where you would be standing, and directly north from here is the Wright Brothers National Memorial, and that's what we're seeing. Okay.
And so the area that we're headed to, before this was turned into a state park or a preserve, there was a hotel built on this site, and there was also a putt-putt golf course. But due to the increasing amounts of sand that were coming in from the Atlantic Ocean, it was coming up to the roof of the hotel. So they were forced to close it down. And there's actually an entire hotel and putt-putt golf course buried underneath the sand and Jockey's Ridge.
That's fun. So it's still there.
It is, yep.
Very cool. Is that part of your next image?
I believe so, yes. This is the last thing that you can actually see from the putt-putt golf course. And depending on the day and how the wind is blowing the sand, you can see maybe that much of it. But then there's other pictures where you can only maybe make out one turret. So it all depends on the day.
Crazy.
So,
and they have it like roped off too, huh?
it looks like a driftwood fence, kind of.
Yeah.
So I believe that is.
Was this active in the 80s, or when was this mini golf course active?
It was not. It was shut down by the 80s, I believe. I think Carolisa Baum did her thing in 73, so it was already closed down before that.
Oh, okay. So this was there when this was already there and abandoned by the time Byron could have been here.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Very neat. All right.
And
So yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, from there, you can still look north at the wing and you would see the Wright Brothers Memorial.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's awesome. I love it. We have a comment in the chat from Mike Stewart. Says there's big sand traps for golf.
Oh, yeah.
I'd have
Definitely.
to agree. The whole thing's a big sand trap.
Right.
That's funny. All right. So I don't know. Did we touch on like under that, which may be last touched or first seen standing?
I believe that's what this is.
Okay. You think this one?
I do. I think this is where we are supposed to be. I think that it's the thing that can be last touched from the golf course that is now buried. And it's also the first thing that you can see standing from that same putt-putt course.
Cool. All right. So basically, the verse leads you to this spot, through the path beckons you to the observation point. Can you see this from the observation point?
I'm not sure, but I know that you can see it from the road on your way to the parking lot.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, but you're supposed to get there and then go to the area where you can observe the dunes and then see the Wright brothers. And that's where it all lines up.
Yeah, and you can actually see the Wright Brothers Memorial from this spot also, because the observation deck in this area, I believe, are kind of in a line.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Huh. Well, yeah, that's really pretty neat ideas. I've never heard anybody consider anything like this, and I've heard a little bit of Jockey's Ridge, but not a ton. So, yeah, it's fun to explore it a little bit with you. Like, are you gonna? This area looked a little bit roped off. Is it? You think it's like off limits where you wouldn't be able to dig because it's in that little roped off area, or you think it's in the sand somewhere?
I do think it's in the sand, and I think that kind of has to do with the determination quote, because to dig in sand is going to take a lot of effort. However, I think that it's doable. And I'm not sure if you can dig in there or not. I've seen pictures where people are standing right up next to it, whenever it's more clear and you can see more of it. So I don't know that it's necessarily roped off to the public. Maybe it's being protected from the wind or the water. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's definitely really interesting. I've never seen it before, and I thought I'd seen everything out here. So thanks for bringing it to my attention.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's something I'm going to need to look into a little bit deeper.
And I mean, the scarecrow is in what looks like a castle. So, I mean, if you look really close at the sand castle that's in the sand, the windows kind of are the same shape.
Okay.
And just the background look in general.
Yeah. And then like, what was it looking like in, it was probably in a little bit better shape 40 years ago too.
Right.
So yeah, it's really neat. Yeah. The walls of it look, fairly, reminiscent too, especially if you look at the painting, the ground, like the floor part.
Right.
Looks a lot like the the details of that castle that you were showing us. So yeah, it's really neat.
And then that picture up there, I kind of just circled where the other land near the window is. There on the right.
Oh, I see.
Eh, go ahead.
So the shadow of like the ridge for the arch to the, if you're looking at the imagery for image 3, to the right, directly beneath, like, okay, it's just to the right of what we all take to believe is Roanoke Island. The shadowy area is what you're considering Nag's Head, right?
Right. And I like your term ridge. I think that's very fitting
Yeah.
for Josh's
Yeah.
ridge.
Well, it's right on the ridge of the arch, and that's what's creating the shadow. So I get it. I can understand why you like this area and what some of the things that have taken you there. You have the little mace ball thing circled on the other side. What's the significance of that for you?
So that to me looks like an underwater mine.
Mm.
And so a mine is a type of bomb. BAUMBOMB. I think it's a play on words. So that's the bomb bridge.
Yeah, I love it. That's really cool. It does look like an underwater mine, and I've never considered that myself. So, very cool. Well done. I like that a lot. I always thought of it like as a, historical thing with Samuel Mace, because it looks like a little mace, and Samuel Mace had something to do with the. I think he was the one that was supposed to come and rescue the people at Roanoke Island, and it never happened, or he said he couldn't find them, and he may have never tried. So, yeah. So that's a cool imagery there, and I like that it's right on the ridge. That's pretty sweet.
And I think that back to that one, his hands extending beyond the page, I think means the Outer Banks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, so Byron Price was the editor of the book, and he probably had, obviously the final say of everything, and he's probably thinking, well, Outer Banks, and like we know what the original image looks like now. His hands aren't sticking out of anything; they're just out at the edges of toward the edges of the canvas. But I love that Byron added this as a little clue, because a lot of people believe this takes you to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So I love it.
And then right here, I just kind of was looking for things that were written, letters, numbers, whatever. I happened to turn it upside down, and I found a J with the dot being the bubble. And then looking at the watch, that's your O. And then I kept thinking about gift giver and what he or she said about taking something from the right and adding it to the left, or what have you. I think that's meant to mean we take the keys from the other side, or key, and add it to the one on this side. So we have J, O, and keys right next to the ridge.
So Jockey Ridge.
Yes, but it's keys, like plural. So we need the other keys moved over, and I think that's the rebus.
Jockey's Ridge. All right. Well, I think people have been looking for a rebus in this for a long time, and that's pretty compelling. I love it. So very cool. The what we're looking at right now for audio only listeners is where you got the Roanoke image flipped upside down, and she's spelling out JOCK, or JOC with a or a J and O, and with two keys. So jaw key, and then right there's that ridge that has the shape of perhaps the Nag's Head Island area, and also the arms outstretched. Looks like the bridge, and bridge is ridge with a B. So don't know if that's anything, but you had pointed that out to me before we chatted. So I don't know. I like a lot of the stuff in here. Do you have answers for like the red feathers or anything else that you have ideas on?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. Now, I think that that looks like driftwood, but it also, I was looking up the gems, and garnet is actually used as a sandpaper or in sandblasters. So I looked up garnet sandpaper, and it's that color, and I feel like if you cut it into strips, that is what it looks like.
Okay. Very cool. That's awesome. Something else that I don't see a lot of talk about, but on the figure's shoulder, I guess it would be if you're looking at the picture upright. On the figure's shoulder over here, we have a emblem that looks kind of like a baseball or something like that. I know that, like, if you're looking at old maps or even current maps and you look like at the legend, there's a symbol kind of like that it means bridge. So maybe that's another thing telling you that this is the bridge, or just a bridge is important. Do you have any other ideas about any of these other symbols?
Yeah, actually, that Carolisa Baum, the reason she actually got a petition to save Jockey's Bridge is that one day her kids were playing outside and they heard a bulldozer, and they ran in to tell her, well, somebody was there to flatten Jockey's Bridge to make way for condominiums and, commercialized use. And she stood out in front of the bulldozer with her arms out like the scarecrow and refused to move. And so the bulldozers, they left for the day. There was nothing that they could do. And she ended up stealing their distributor caps at night so that they couldn't run them the next day, until she got enough petitions and she went to North Carolina and asked that Jockey's Bridge become a saved site, a memorial. So I think that they maybe distributor caps.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, go ahead.
The horns on his head kind of make him look like a bull, and his eyes are kind of closed, so it's like he's dozing or sleeping. So bulldozer.
All right. Well, I hadn't heard those things before, but I wouldn't discount any of it. I like you have like good reasons to look in all the place that led you to your spot, and to the reasons that how you've interpreted things. So I really enjoy what you're presenting here. Do you have any other comments or any other comments about the painting or the verse?
I did want to mention the spoon with the P on it. I do believe that is P Island, because it is south of where Nag's Head would be and Antio.
Oh, the spoon. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So the spoon hanging from the arm with what do you suppose this little guy is back here? Because it has a face on it. You can see it in the original, like photographs of the original image. You think that has anything to do with the putt-putt golf or anything?
I'm not sure.
I wonder if there was like a Humpty Dumpty hole or something that was visible at the time still.
They had a big octopus at one time, and a couple other big items. I can't remember exactly what they were, but I'll have to look at that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of fun. All right. I guess we're finished talking about this, unless you have anything else you wanted to point out.
Just that the ends of his hands look like fish, and I think that indicates that he is a bridge over water, and that the Atlantic Ocean, is on the right, and then there's also water to the left.
Okay.
And you can see that with the missing kind of window. If you zoom in, you can see that there's blue in some spots to where you can't even make out the edge of the window. So I think that indicates water as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it looks like a bunch of water splashing behind the window, right?
Right.
So, yeah, very cool. All right. Well, I want to say thanks just for sharing some ideas about Image 3 and Verse 11 because a lot of people are focused on it right now. A lot of people are really focused on Roanoke Island. So it's fun to hear ideas that take you off of the island. I know a lot of other people like the Wright brothers a lot. And that's initially where I had a lot of my research for this one. I've since joined the Roanoke Island crowd, but that doesn't mean that any of these ideas are wrong. And you've given me a lot of things to think about, so I want to thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. So at the end of this, like we have a little bit of time left. I'm gonna ask you my 12 paintings, 12 verses, 12 questions, and get your response to those. And while I do that, I'm gonna pull up Google Earth so that we can chat. With some of that in the background and take looks at some aerial shots. But before I do that, I'll ask the first question. Which of the 12 puzzles of The Secret is your favorite?
This one, hands down.
Yeah, it is a lot. I think for me and my wife, for a long time, it was our favorite too. There's something that really draws you in. There's so many little details that they could mean anything. So you get to really pour over it and think a lot. And that's kind of the reason I like it. What makes it your favorite?
Um, it's just the first one that I really looked into. I'm a real newbie when it comes to this. I have only even known about The Secret since June of last year.
Okay.
So I haven't researched many in depth at all except this one. And then I
Gotcha.
got sidetracked with the tribute for a while because Louisville is close to me. Um, but then Gift Giver dropped, you know, that bomb, and I got back into the Roanoke thing. So
Yeah. Okay. You know, while we're here, I might as well read the gift giver thing, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. All right. So the gift giver thing says The Secret's official nudge of 2021. Not too long ago, whoever, and this is the words of whoever is writing it down. And I apologize if I mispronounce anything. Not too long ago, I was watching a film which featured whirling dervishes. In the scene, the Sufi had one hand pointing to the sky, accepting something from God, and one hand pointed to the earth, giving something back. For a brief second, I was reminded of the Roanoke painting. The painting seems to involve parallels, doesn't it? One side matching the other, but not exactly. Left hand accepting, right hand releasing. What does the right hand have, or why does the right hand have a string with nothing attached? Why is the left holding a watch? Should you add something to the right? Should you remove something from the left? Is it the reverse? How would you know? Maybe there are instructions in the painting, perhaps a plus and minus sign somewhere. Is anyone looking at these paintings correctly? Is anyone? I don't remember exactly what John and Byron were going for. Maybe you can fill in the blanks. Merry Christmas. See you next year. And there's a link to the YouTube video, Viking Oceans, Turkey's Whirling Dervishes. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh, I've seen those guys on The Amazing Race because the TV show Amazing Race, they fly around the world. And one of the things they had to do were in Turkey was these whirls. So like I've seen this on TV before, and it's pretty cool. So getting away from the 12 questions real quick, what did this do for you? This so-called Secret's official nudge.
it made me think about balance mostly, and then I thought about like the plus and the minus and polarity.
Okay.
And then the spinning, of course, and that's kind of how those dunes were formed. I kind of like a lot of the imagery in the Houston image, in terms of Jockey's Ridge. I mean, he's obviously spinning, and it looks like water, and that reminds me of the hurricanes that helped to form Jockey's Ridge. And then there are sand dunes in the background,
Gotcha.
and it is the astrological opposite of Roanoke in January because it's July.
Okay. So it connects to which image is that? 8?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is. So the one's Houston, right? So yeah, image 8, and how they could. You think they might connect to each other?
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure how. I just feel like looking at that screams
Mhm.
desert to me. Um, and I looked up, I think the biggest desert in Texas is like 500 and some miles away from Houston.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. And I just thought about the whole fairies, secrets come in twos, and perhaps the opposite astrological sign has to do with another.
I like that. I don't know how much you know about me, but my wife and I were really into the astrological stuff as far as trying to figure these things out. So um, I like that. I need to consider that more. That's fun. All right. So question 2, and we'll try to rapid fire these as much as possible. But question 2, which cask do you think will be retrieved next?
Um, Probably this one. I hope this one. I'm really not sure. Um, this
Are
one or
you
maybe St. Augustine.
okay? Are you okay with someone other than you retrieving it?
I mean, it'll hurt, but
So, but you just told people where the abouts where you think it is. So, I mean, if someone went out there,
right, yeah. Oh,
they get,
absolutely. I mean, I hope my information helps somebody. I really do, because at this point, let's just get them out of the ground.
yeah, and give you some credit too.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. Which puzzle do you think people are the most off the mark with?
I don't know that they're necessarily off the mark or not. And I really hope to not get any like backlash from this, but I I kind of feel like the first chapter written in water should be paired with New York, and that New York's verse should be paired with St. Augustine.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that would be something. I'd be interested in hearing more about how you can use some of those elements that seem to fit really well in the others, in different spots, like the green picket fence. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of them in New York, so it might work out there.
Well, and my biggest thought was the whole bookend idea. So we have
Yeah,
New York is on the East Coast and San Francisco's West Coast.
sure,
So there are chapters in a book. So the first chapter to me that is written in water is the New York image.
sure. Sweet, I like it. It gives us something to think about. Um, all right, so which cast do you think is going to be hardest to find?
Um, Probably New Orleans, if I had to say, just because I think people are kind of all over the place down there too. Because there's just so much that can fit into the verse and the painting.
Yeah, cool, cool. So if you found a cask, what would be the first thing you do?
I don't even know. I'd probably pass out. I would
Yeah,
call everybody. I don't know.
yeah. Well, it'd be pretty shock to your system, right? So, all
Right.
right. So, which expedition unknown about the secret was your favorite?
Um, Probably the first one that I saw, and that was the one that you were in, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I didn't even see it myself or know about it, to be completely honest. My boyfriend worked with somebody who had mentioned it, and we came home and we watched it, and he got me the book that night. 2 days later, it came, and I've been in rabbit holes ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah, it really grabs you once it grabs you, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That was it's probably my second favorite Expedition Unknown episode. I really love that first one. It's so good. All right. So, what North American city that isn't widely considered to be part of the secret? Which one would you hide a cask of your own in?
Um, I think Pittsburgh. I just love that city. First of all, plus I'm in close proximity to it, and it kind of blows my mind that there isn't a cask buried in Pennsylvania, especially because Byron Price went to college there. I don't know. It's just a cool city. It's beautiful. It's close.
Yeah, yeah. That it is kind of crazy. I know Brian Zinn thought Philadelphia for a long time before he used the same painting to find one in Cleveland. So, yeah, makes a ton of sense that there should be one there because of all the history, but doesn't seem to be. But I still wouldn't roll it out because nobody's found a lot of these things, and who the heck knows, right?
Right.
But yeah, that would be a cool place to hide one. All right, which culture, immigration, part of the book, has been your favorite to learn more about while studying its connections to The Secret?
I would say probably with England because I've been so focused on Roanoke. I did dive a little bit into New Orleans, and to be honest, Louisville has me researching Native Americans a lot too. So I just enjoy it all.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun part about the whole book, isn't it? Like having to consider it, even if they're not major parts of the puzzles, you still should consider it and try to figure out as much as you can, as far as like immigration routes and the connections that there could be with these areas. So that's pretty fun. All right, if you had free reign to go and dig right now, anywhere you want, which city would you want, and which one would you pick?
I would love to go to Nag's Head or the Outer Banks to dig, but it's not real warm right there right now. So probably Florida.
That makes sense. I get you. All right. Which is your favorite of the descendants of the Fair People in The Secret? And do you believe that they hold clues to help find the casks?
I love the Nature Demon. I just think that he's fun. But no, I really don't think that they hold clues. Maybe in some roundabout separation way, but no, not directly.
Gotcha. Well, you might love the Nature Demon, but he doesn't love you because he'll sit you next to the noisy dishwasher or whatever it says in the.
Yeah, I don't know why I like him.
He's fun. No, I'm just.
Yeah.
All right. Two more questions. What is your favorite image match from the art of John Palencar in The Secret when comparing it to what it might represent in real life?
I got to go with the bridge. I have to. His arms are a bridge in several different ways.
And it has that on his shoulder. I mean, that's a symbol, as far as I'm concerned, that's a symbol for a bridge. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a fun one. All right. So the last question is, if you could ask Byron Preiss one question, what would it be?
How did his brain even think this stuff up 12 times? It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is an incredible thought to think like what was going on in his mind when this idea hit him, right?
Right. And how did he pull himself out? My goodness.
Yeah.
Because the connections just keep going,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, every time you think you figured something out, there's a good explanation for something else. Like what some of the things you're saying, it makes me think twice about some of my ideas, even though I'm across the bridge over on the island now. Something brought me there because I was up at the Wright brothers, and now you're making me consider more thoughts about Jockey's Ridge. So I just think it's really fun to talk about these things, and I'm really happy to get perspectives that aren't like the normal ones, like from people like you. So Ashley, I think we're going to wrap up here, but I do want to say thank you so much for joining me. And did you want me to zoom in on anything in Google Earth before I let you go? Because that's the one thing I wanted to do that I forgot about. So
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Do you just so that I know which part of Jockey's Ridge that castle is at? Is on the
okay. Yeah. Okay, we should probably zoom in then. There's a Kitty Hawk kite shop that you can park at and go straight across to the dune area where that castle is. So I think that that's also like a parallel way to get there. So it's a little further down south from that.
Okay.
It's towards the road, so it's close to the Crowtown Highway.
Okay. So it's somewhere in here?
It is somewhere along the highway up towards that ridge there. Yeah, I haven't been able to
Okay.
pinpoint it exactly.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to figure things out when they're not like big tourist spots, like real big tourist spots.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's super cool. All right. Is there anything else? Oh, I wanted to just say, I was saying thank you to you, Ashley. Next week, I'm going to actually do one just by myself, and I'm going to talk about, I think, San Francisco. I think Cliff House. I think that's where I want to go with it. Maybe. But I think it's just going to be me. And then the following week, I think we're going to jump into a little bit of like something that is going to really educate me. I think we're going to get into possibly, the thought of a cask in St. Louis, Missouri. I think that would be a lot of fun to discuss because me sitting right here, I don't have a lot of faith that there's one in St. Louis, Missouri, but maybe my mind could be changed. I'm very open to a lot of ideas. So I'm excited to possibly learn more about St. Louis. So, but I guess that is. Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on, and if nothing else, I think you gave people some stuff to think about, and that's the goal of this. I believe is just to put out ideas, and maybe they'll connect with somebody that'll help one of these casks be unearthed in the future, and that's that. So, Ashley, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for giving us something to think about.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, tune in next week, probably around the same time, 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern for Secret Podcast. And everybody keep searching.
Thanks for listening to Secret Podcast. We are not affiliated with the website 12 Treasures, Pokemon Go, New Coke, The Clapper, MC Hammer, My Sleep Pillow, Reebok Pumps, or anything colored in mauve or fuchsia. Secret Podcast is full of vitamins, contains no trans fat, has 0 calories, no additives or preservatives. It's all natural, farm to table, and is organically sourced to provide you with the maximum entertainment. Join in the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/The Secret A Treasure Hunt, all one word.